Hi guys, this is our very first attempt at a video preview, and well, this will be with a new game which will be released in a few weeks now at the end of September. I think it's September 22nd. It's the new Frictional Games, the developers of the Penumbra series, but well, you probably know them more for Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which was a really frightening game, and they didn't take care of the sequel to Amnesia, as it was Chinese Room, developers behind Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which we covered this week on PS4. So this time, Frictional Games, they're back with another adventure horror game, but enough with the Victorian era. It's going to be science fiction, and SOMA, because that's the name, we'll probably remind you of certain number of movies and even games. So you'll think of Alien, maybe, especially the first time we saw the different screenshots, and we thought that the story took place on a spaceship. It was very reminiscent of Alien, but also, and we'll see that in a few minutes, BioShock. And we've been given the access to the preview build of the game, which is about a third of the entire story. And well, most journalists who played the preview said they played for about 3 hours and a half. It felt a bit shorter for us. Maybe Steam didn't actually get it right, or maybe I rushed more than I thought because I was too scared. But it took us around 2 hours to complete the preview, and we're going to talk about, well, basically what we saw. And the videos you'll see as I speak are simply the direct feed footage that you can actually download in this news article. So we weren't allowed to show more than 15 minutes of gameplay, edited gameplay, so that's why there isn't going to be anything new in this. And so let's start with the very first video, which actually doesn't show the beginning of the game, because we couldn't show you that, because there's a kind of a surprise for it. So you'll see when the game ships. And basically I know a bit more about the character, but I won't say a thing. But suffice to say that it's someone waking up in a very strange place that he doesn't know, and in that it's close to amnesia, because the character remembers who he is, and he remembers his life, but he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't understand why and how he got there. And this is going to be the story of him trying to find his way out and to understand and figure out what happened. And it's a very narrative game. The experience is, I think, for the developers very important, in that there are gameplay mechanics, but I think they have tried to leave as little as possible, so that people can focus on the experience itself. So basically you can interact with objects and use the right trigger if you play with a controller, like I was when I captured this, and you hold the right trigger, and you can pretty much touch, well, not everything, but there are quite a good number of objects you can actually hold, and you see them floating in the air, old school style, and and you can throw them, to maybe when you're chased and you want to, or you're trying to sneak into a room, and you want to make sure that that strange creature that's after you is not going to come, so you throw something. I didn't use that, but it's possible. And most of the game is basically walking around that strange station and finding your way, and making sure that you can stay also alive. So there are a few jump scares. Probably was the first. Not very much in the first third of the game, but I'd say that's okay. And most of the atmosphere actually, more than fear, it's, you know, you'll feel uneasy, and it's a very atmospheric game. I really think that when you play the game, you can actually, you know, with the sound design and everything, especially with you, if you play with headphones, you'll hear a lot of things happening, and that, you know, helps a lot, just like it did in Amnesia. And so you'll interact with a few things, but you know, all the objects you can actually hold or take, they're not going to be of any use, most of them. So there are very few things you can actually carry around in the first third of the game. So you have this Omni tool, and it's not a very complicated mechanic, because in the beginning you think that there are going to be different chips you have to find to unlock the doors, and so you have to, you know, some doors will be locked, but you know, from my experience is that the part I played, it was quite linear in that respect, and you know, the story actually gave you the means to have the, you know, the new chip or the new whatever that you need to, for the Omni tool to function properly. And so yeah, you're gonna get a lot of corridors like this, and like I said, you know, shadows and lights and shadows, and these interferences that you can see that, you know, show that something is happening, and this strange thing that looks like a machine in a way, but that also looks very much alive, and that you can put your finger into, and that is a strange thing to do, but that's what the character does, and you know, it will evolve over time, as you'll see. And this is something that actually gives you, you know, gives your health back if you're, you know, in a bad shape, but there's no life meter or anything, no sanity meter, so it's you know, the HUD is pretty well basic. There's almost nothing to see anyway, except some prompts sometime when you can interact with things, and like here. So when I was talking about the feeling of uneasiness, that's one of these moments here. We see that the robot that actually sounds very human, and when you unplug it, it's like you're killing someone, and that's a very strange feeling to have, because you know, it's like something is off, and that's, you know, what you're going to have to learn, what happened, and why are these robots actually speaking like humans, and so and what's happening to you as a character in that very, very hostile place where apparently no one's left alive. And the second part of the gameplay mechanics is it's sneaking up and making sure that this guy over there doesn't see you, because if he sees you, and I'm going to say he, but I probably should say it, but well, one of the things you have to do is not look directly at him, but also not, you know, if he actually hits you or if he touches you, it's well, you're done for. But we'll say more about that, because it's not exactly dying, or let's say that dying is not exactly the end in SOMA. So another one of these robots, you know, that's sure that, you know, he's human, and you know, the main character reacting to that and saying, well, you are not, and actually there's a bit of, well, I would say comedy in a way, you know, when looking back now. But yeah, like I said, it's more about feeling uneasy all the time. There's no moment where I was really, really scared, and even when there's a threat, like when you're, you know, just walking down the corridor, and then you can see that the bad robot is back. Yeah, you're careful, but in this part of the game, it's not too difficult, because there's you know, the creature follows the same pattern, so it's quite easy to to get past it without being noticed, and do what you have to do. Well, you have to be careful for sure, and there is tension. I'm not going to say I didn't feel tension, but it's not too difficult at this point in the game, at least. And basically, since it's a very story-driven experience, you're going to get to also experience different sequences where you walk and nothing is happening really, other than, well, just like here, the ocean. And these are the sequences that people wanted to play in the first Bioshock, and that we could only play in the second Bioshock. And here it's again, it's very atmospheric. There is there are bits of narrative, like here, where you can actually see fragments of the past in a way, listen to the people who were there before and apparently disappeared, and you're trying to again understand why, and again why you are involved also in all that, in all this, and so these passages didn't, well, it's actually, it gives the illusion of being free to wander around in the ocean, in the ocean, and that it's a pretty big open area, which is, it's not really, but you won't get lost, but you still have to find your way to the next station, or to the next, to the ladder that you will have to find, for example, later. And yeah, it's really effective, and it's not because you don't feel you're in any danger that basically the atmosphere doesn't work. It works very, very well. One thing I forgot to say when I was talking about the controls, and that's one thing here that we won't see, but is when you interact with something, and you hold it, like when I was unplugging the robot a few minutes ago, if you remember. When you hold the right trigger, the left analog stick will be used to do what you could do in Amnesia, which is open drawers or lockers, and you simply have to pull on the analog stick, and or right or left when it's a door, and it's pretty natural. So like here, for example, it's pretty simple and it works very well, and it's something that other first-person games should do at some point, because that's a very good idea. So despite the subjective view, there is no combat per se in the game. You won't get a weapon or anything, so you have to keep a low profile if you don't want to die. But that's the thing. When you die, you basically you're not brought back to the last checkpoint or the last save point. You actually wake up where you were taken down, and apparently it's like you didn't die, but to me there is something linked to well, I'm not sure, but maybe multiple endings and the number of times you'll die, because there's when you learn about the story and what happened and everything, there has to be some connection between what you're doing with these very odd creature thing where you put your finger into, and the also the death itself, and how you cope with it. So that's a bit of a something that's I'm not quite sure yet, but yeah, I feel there's something there, and that could be a very good idea if it turns out to be true. That being said, in the last part of the preview build, I was in an area with the creature slash robot that was after me, and I felt it was a bit difficult to actually sneak past the creature, and that it was much easier to get killed and just wake up and continue, or which is what you have to do anyway. If you're spotted, just run as far away as you can, and well, find your way, and maybe you can actually lost the creature. And that's basically it. You know, it's not a game that actually had me very scared from beginning to end, but I really like the atmosphere, and I'm really looking forward to playing the whole game when we get the review build. And yeah, look at that. It's just it's very atmospheric. It's something different from Amnesia. It's I'm guessing it's going to be less maybe frustrating, and to some players who maybe didn't want to try, or just simply did try at the beginning of Amnesia and then just gave up, that could be a reason to maybe to try this one. Just hoping that yeah, the others, those who maybe were disappointed in A Machine for Pigs, won't think it's you know, a bit of a disappointment not to have a sanity meter and other things to take care of. So you'll be, yeah, stealth. You'll be doing some stealth and some climbing and some interaction with a few objects. But yeah, it's not going to be something you know, where you'll have tons of, you know, mechanics to deal with. So that's it for now. It was the preview video of SOMA, and yeah, we're really looking forward to playing the whole game, and we hope that you enjoyed that attempt at a preview. Bye guys, I'll see you soon on Gamersyde.